This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, a well-seasoned Dunedin barber is hanging up his shears after more than 50 years. A new building arrives in Antarctica by Navy boat as part of the Scott Base redevelopment. And an Auckland couple who've bought Earnscleugh Station have big plans for the manor house. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Phil Vaughan. One of Dunedin's longest operating barbershops is on the market. Hairdresser Selwyn Grave opened up his Moray Place barbershop and tobacconist in 1961. And while he's hung up his scissors full-time a few years ago, he believes the time has now come to sell up.
From Governors General to gang members, from the hoi polloi to the hard done by, Selwyn Grave has cut them all.
I've cut some famous people, some All Blacks, some Governor Generals. Used to cut Joan Butcher's hair when she had a haircut, and her husband, or ex-husband.
At 82 years young, Grave figured it was about time to retire, and he's put the well-known Dunedin barbershop on the market. He suffered a stroke a few years ago, and while he's been semi-retired from cutting, he still pops in to keep in touch.
I'm going to miss talking to people, talking to everyone there. You know, I talk to everyone. I love it.
Grave has been a hairdresser since 1954 and has had extensive experience within the industry, opening his first business in 1961.
32 Murray Place where I started off, which Arch McHale, very good. I stayed with him for 7 years. Then I went to Water Street, and which is the old Stock Exchange building. And then I went to 241 Murray Place, which was, and then 276.
The times have changed over the 30 years of Selwyn Grave barbers. The word tobacconist has been blacked out of the sign in Lower Moray Place. Grave isn't entirely sure how many people's hair he's cut over the years.
I wouldn't know, actually. I've never counted up. But I would imagine it must be 1 million, probably.
The Dunedin barbershop is being marketed as the snip of the year. And while Selwyn Grave will miss the regular contact with people, he's looking forward to enjoying time with family and being genuinely retired. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The site of the former Cadbury factory, where Dunedin's new hospital is set to be built, has been very quiet recently, but that's about to change. These diggers have been silent and still in the months since the demolition work ended, with many birds now making nests at the site. However, the Southern District Health Board says the dormant diggers are due to begin piling work in the site within the next month. The excavators with bucket and rock-breaking attachments will be used to pulverise concrete, where the piles will be driven in. Shipping containers will be brought to the site to try and dampen down the noise generated by the concrete cutting and pile driving work. A new building under construction at Scott Base in Antarctica is set to house teams answering some of the world's most important science questions. The research base will support several science projects, including key instruments to measure the ozone layer, as part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade of Scott Base.
Sir Edmund Hillary's legacy lives on at Scott Base, New Zealand's home in Antarctica. This small green science building was transported south on the Royal New Zealand Navy ship, the HMNZS Aotearoa. The building will support several science experiments, some of which have continued uninterrupted since 1957, when Sir Edmund and his team set up Scott Base. It will also house the latest super-sensitive radio receiver, tuned to measure chlorine monoxide, a key compound in the destruction of ozone.
This is Chloe, which is short for chlorine monoxide radiometer. It's more akin to a radio telescope and used in astronomy than most instruments that look at ozone depletion. It measures chlorine monoxide, which is one of the key ingredients in killing ozone or making the ozone hole. One chlorine atom can destroy billions of ozone atoms.
Scott Base is only one of 3 sites in the world to take the measurements, because it's located beneath the annually occurring ozone hole. The arrival of the Science Building is the first part of a $344 million redevelopment of New Zealand's only Antarctic research station. 3 large interconnected buildings will also be built to replace Scott Base's 12 separate buildings. The project is expected to be completed by 2028. In Antarctica, the South today.
Southern hospitals are planning to start operating on Saturdays to try and catch up with the backlog of procedures caused by COVID-19. The Southern District Health Board says the pandemic's created a lag in cancer diagnosis and high demand for cancer treatment over a short space of time. The board is planning to run Saturday elective procedures for the next 6 months. Currently, some cancer patients are being sent to Christchurch and Wellington in an attempt to clear waiting lists. Some orthopaedic patients are also being sent to Timaru. The 100-year-old Earnscleugh Station homestead in central Otago was recently sold to an Auckland couple who are planning to move into the historic property. But they admit there's a lot of work needed to restore the 2-storey house to its former glory before it can be lived in again.
A new home for an Auckland couple. The historic Earnscleugh Station homestead near Clyde was recently snapped up by Ryan Sanders and his husband Marco Creamers, who had already been thinking of moving to central Otago. Sanders first heard that the 100-year-old house was on the market through a colleague of the New Zealand-wide travel company he owns.
She sent it through to me and said this would be a great property for the accommodation arm of our business. I looked at it, sent it to Marco and said, stuff that, this should be our residential home.
Creamers says the couple were drawn to the unique qualities of the unusual building in the middle of the central Otago countryside.
It's sort of a bit odd. It's not your traditional homestead. I think that quirkiness of it was one of its major attractions.
The couple are planning to fix the leaking roof as soon as possible, followed by electrical rewiring and heating. But that's not all that needs to be done. The pair want to completely renovate the kitchens and bathrooms, along with replacing some missing wooden balconies. The Category 1 listed historic place seems to be in good hands, with Marco Creamers having spent 3 decades restoring buildings around central Auckland for the Samson Company.
For the last 30 years I've been working for them as their projects director, building new buildings, green sustainable buildings and refurbishing heritage buildings and older heritage supported buildings around the city, mostly in Ponsonby, Parnell and Mount Eden areas.
Work on the original building was never quite finished. The original plans called for plastering of the outside brick walls, which is something the new owners are now considering. Near Clyde, the South Today.
Whaiaki nei. Still to come on the South Today. The search for a missing Fiordland tramper scales up, and a man cave in Wanaka broadens its horizons.
Hi, we're Age Concerned Otago.
Age Concerned Otago hosts a multitude of social activities,
Including little walks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Oh there, guess who? You recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cup says, keep calm and carry on.
Great Scott! 30% off for 30 hours. My mate John's travelling back in time this weekend in his store-wide price wind back. The price of everything's going up, but John's winding the clock back with his 30% off everything. Shop in store or online at mymatejohn.co.nz with click and collect and contact-free delivery options available.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
Every day the team at Gillian's supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. Police are continuing to search for a missing tramper in the Fiordland area, with additional search and rescue personnel and volunteers joining the effort. The tramper had been intending to climb Devil's Armchair near the northern end of the Milford Track. He was reported overdue early on Monday morning, with a search starting shortly afterwards, including an aerial search using thermal and night vision technology. Police and Landsar staff have been working alongside specialist alpine cliff rescue teams in searching what's believed to be the man's intended route. Another team, skilled in canyoning, has searched other locations of interest, including gorge and river areas. For more than a decade, a Christchurch man has been spreading Star Wars magic to children in need of help and support all around the world. David Britton dresses up as the well-known movie villain Darth Vader, sending personalised video messages to children after being contacted by family or friends.
The force is strong with this one. For the last 12 years, David Britton has been Canterbury's own Darth Vader. But instead of turning to the dark side, he's using the power of the force to spread messages of hope and support to young children.
I intend to send a few video messages to some special boys and girls in New Zealand who have impressed the Emperor greatly.
Britton dresses up as the iconic Star Wars character Darth Vader and has sent more than 700 personalised video messages to children all over the world, many who are dealing with illness, grief, depression or just struggling with isolation from COVID lockdowns.
We've dealt with kiddies that have lost parents, kiddies that have lost siblings in accidents and all this sort of thing.
He admits he was obsessed with Star Wars from a young age and always wished he could meet the famous movie villain.
When Vader came on screen, you knew instinctively this guy was the villain. There was no mistake.
And 43 years later, he's aiming to show off a gentler side of the character for a new generation.
For me, it was making them child-friendly. So how do you do that with someone that's, you know, choking people left, right and centre? Once you give them a high five and you kneel down to their height and they can see that you're not this super baddie that they thought you were, it's all good.
Sometimes Darth Vader is called upon to make heartbreaking visits. Last year he visited one Star Wars fan who was on her deathbed with only hours left to live.
I stood beside her and held her hand. The family actually said that was the first time she'd smiled in weeks because of the pain that she was in.
Britton admits he can't solve all the world's problems, but hopes he can spread some unique magic and help make a difference to a child's life, one at a time. In Christchurch, the South today.
Good on you, David. Using the force for good. Now, when is a men's shed definitely not just a men's shed? In the case of the Wanaka Community Workshop, it's when the site is set to expand with new facilities for dressmaking and sewing.
The Wanaka Community Workshop is about to get new neighbours in the form of a sewing room.
We want to blend in with the space next door so it becomes a place where you can go and learn skills to do with sewing, fixing, building, upholstery, pattern making.
Founded last year, the workshop was never intended to be solely a men's shed, but retired male carpenters, builders and other tradies flocked to do woodwork projects and repairs and construct items for the wider community. Workshop co-founder Gwilym Griffith-Jones says he's looking forward to having a sewing room as an addition to the space.
We never imagine ourselves to be a men's shed. We are a community workshop and inclusive of everybody. And I see sewing as, you know, as important or more important than woodwork or metalwork.
He says the role of the workshop is to help people acquire skills that were very much more commonplace 50 years ago.
Everybody who comes in here and gets to contribute to something that's being made or gets to fix something of their own goes away happy and fulfilled in a way that I don't think you don't get the same satisfaction from buying something as you do from making it or fixing it yourself.
The new sewing area is set to have painting and electrical work done over the next few weeks and then hopefully be equipped with industrial sewing machines.
We just need to accumulate the pieces, you know, what we need, the mannequins, the machines, the equipment, you know, pen drafting tools.
It's hoped the new space will be ready for people to start working on their sewing and fabric projects by the end of April. In Wanaka, the South today.
Pupils and staff dressed in purple at East Gore School recently to show support for those with epilepsy. Marking the day is important for the school because one of the pupils has the condition.
Purple was the predominant colour at East Gore School recently. Staff and pupils dressed up in support of Purple Day, which aims to raise awareness of epilepsy. School Principal Wendy Kitto says the day was marked because one of the pupils, Corbin Belt, has epilepsy. She says recognising the range of needs that others may have is an important value in the school.
We think actually diversity in schools is really important for other students to learn about other students' needs and abilities and things that they have going on in their lives that they can't always control.
Corbin suffers multiple seizures a day and so far trials of a variety of drugs have failed to treat the condition. In Gore, the South today.
A whaiaki nei still to come on the South today. The Highlanders make changes as they look for their first win in the Super Rugby Pacific competition. And we'll look at what's in store weather-wise for the South over the next few days.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Great Scott! 30% off for 30 hours. My mate John's travelling back in time this weekend in his store-wide price wind-back.
And my mate John.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. The Highlanders have made a few changes for their team to take on the Crusaders this Friday night in Christchurch. The franchise is still looking to secure its first win of the season, despite an improved performance against the Blues last weekend in Dunedin. In the front row, Andrew Makaleo will start at hooker, with Josh Honeck at tight head prop. Meanwhile, in the back line, Connor Garden-Bishop returns at fullback, which sees Sam Gilbert move across to the wing. Experienced English winger Denny Solomona has joined the Highlanders as a replacement and looks set to make his debut off the bench. And there's a milestone for Marty Banks, who'll be playing his 50th Super Rugby game. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A veteran Dunedin barber hangs up his shears after more than 50 years. Selwyn Graves' shop dubbed Snip of the Year. A new science building arrives in Antarctica by Navy boat as part of a $344 million redevelopment of Scott Base. And an Auckland couple who've bought Earnscleugh Station near Alexandra have big plans for the historic manor house with a lot of work ahead. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome in Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Phil. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Excellent. Dunedin City Council's relationship with Mana Whenua may have begun to heal after yesterday's vote, so a lot of controversy and tension around that. But there is division among elected representatives, so there's more on that story tomorrow. Resource consent applications, this is a positive story, have been lodged for the proposed $4 billion Lake Onslow pumped hydro storage proposal, so it looks as though things are moving there, so that's an interesting story. Mark Cummings, whose daughter was killed in a crash at Outram, is demanding a payment from the DCC, so a legal battle is looming there. And last week, after Nobby Clark resigned as Deputy Mayor of the Invercargill City Council, well, he's back again. So that was a short-term resignation.
Yeah.
He's had a chat to Mayor Sir Tim, and they're all good friends again. So there you go.
He couldn't stay away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Barry.
All right.
Now let's have a look and see what's in store for our weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
We've got some mild northerly airflows early tomorrow, changing into a cold front over the region later, and behind that front, a much colder southerly airstream will arrive. Beginning at the top of the South Island, Nelson set for cloudy skies and 23 degrees. To the west coast, Greymouth is in for 21 degrees and cloudy skies. Over in the east, the cloud will increase in Christchurch, however, it still should reach 20 degrees. Heading to our southern towns, along the coast, the Catlins can expect freshening nor'westerlies with cloud increasing and a high of 20 degrees. It'll be wetter further inland with Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore all in for a southerly change, bringing rain later in the day with a high of 19 degrees. Moving to the Central Lakes area, Wanaka, Queenstown, Alexandra can all expect moderate nor'westerlies with cloud increasing and a high of 22 degrees. Wetter in Te Anau, however, with a southwesterly change, bringing rain later on and a high of 19 degrees. Looking at our northern towns, along the coast, Timaru can expect light northerlies with a high cloud and 23 degrees. Similar in Oamaru with moderate northerlies, increasing cloud and a high of 22 degrees. Inland to Twizel and Ormarama, moderate nor'westerlies with increasing cloud and a high of 24 degrees. In Dunedin, it'll be fine tonight with northeast winds and an overnight low of 11 degrees. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with thick high cloud and a moderate mild northerlies for most of the day. Some low cloud and showers developing tomorrow night with colder westerlies from the south becoming strong. A high of 20 and a low of 11. A chillier day for Friday with early showers clearing, but the cloud will remain, but it'll stay dry for most of the day with fresh cold southerly winds decreasing and a high of 13 and a low of 5. And in Invercargill, clear skies tonight with high cloud and an overnight low of 12 degrees. Fine tomorrow with increasing cloud and some rain developing with freshening nor'westerly winds. Showers will arrive during the afternoon as the colder southwesterlies freshen. The showers will be clearing, however, by tomorrow night, and a high of 20 and a low of 10 degrees. For Friday, mostly cloudy and cold with moderate southeasterly winds, a high of 12 and a low of 7 degrees. And that's the news for this Wednesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.